Hello, thank you for joining me on this episode. This topic I want to talk about my gripes with electric cars, EV vehicles. All right. One of my gripes with electric cars is that what if you need to go on an excursion off road, right? How many power stations are there off roading? What if you need to go off grid for a certain amount of time? Where you need to charge at? Where can you charge your battery? There's no solution for that. There's no battery pack where you just swap out a battery pack and put another one in there, like your cell phone. No, there's no like one of those power juice packs you put in your car when you go off roading. When you run out of fuel, you can't charge your car in the middle of nowhere. With gasoline, at least you can take tank of gas with you when you run out. You can't do that with EV vehicles. You don't know whether in the long run, in the future, that these EV vehicles are not permitted to drive on federal land or off-grid land. How do we know that? They already have a technology where Ford tried patenting technology where they could control your car if you late on your payment. That means they could control your car via the internet. They could repossess your car and drive it back to the dealership. And you have no control over it. It's like CBDC, whatever, digital currency, where I have an expiration date. Now apply that to your car. And people are not asking these questions. What is there? What are the solutions for us if we want to go off road? There are a huge off roading community out there. All right, people who love to go off roading, venture off the beaten path. Right? How can they do that when there's no charging station in the middle of nowhere? South Dakota, there's not that much charging station. Montana, rural area, Wyoming, there's not that much charging station over there. What if you needed to stay off grid and a bit drive around, do some excursions? You can't do that in EV vehicles. Some EV vehicles, if you hit a rough terrain, it won't work. It died out on you. There's a report, I think I saw a report where a Rivian truck, right, got into an accident and then the battery just stopped working, right? With a conventional gas car, if the bumper breaks down, it'll still work. But with these cars, with these EV vehicles, if you bent the frame, if it penetrates the battery just one bit, it's a total salvage. You have to can the whole car. You got to trash the whole car, and that's like a waste of money, man. With a conventional car, you could damage the frame, you can still drive it, then you can still salvage it as well. When you penetrate the battery, it's a loss. The battery costs more than the car alone. Not just that, when you fill in gas cars, it's quicker to fill in a gas car than it is to charge a battery. To be honest, I'm more in favor of hydrogen fuel cell cars. Sure, it might be expensive right now. But in technology, the longer the technology goes on, the more we produce those technologies, the cheaper the cost will go down. Like every technology, right? I'm sure it goes for the same for EV vehicles. The more they build, the cheaper it costs. But the thing is, there's a lot of cons with EV vehicles. The main cause is the fuel, electric. With hydrogen, you can fill it like regular gasoline. You're out of it. You just put one more in it. The downside by hydrogen is that there's not that much power station that carry hydrogen. But give it some time, there'll be some more stations that carry hydrogen, and you don't have to wait hours to fill in your hydrogen. EV vehicles, sure, there's more power station, but it takes longer time to charge. The technology is not there. If it take like 5 minutes to charge up a vehicle, that's perfect. That's fine. 5 minutes in long range, that's fine. But the technology is not there yet. How do we know? And not only that, technology battery have all these cons. Cobalt and lithium are not infinite resources. It's finite. Hydrogen is infinite. Hydrogen is water. Those are infinite and renewable resources. You don't have to import cobalt or lithium from other countries. We have water everywhere. And it's cheap and abundant. It's abundant. Why isn't people being pushed? How isn't the government pushing hydrogen fuel cell car than EV vehicles? Why isn't people adopting hydrogen? I'm more in favor of a hydrogen car. That is the future, in my opinion. That is the future. Heck, even biodiesel is more reliable than EV vehicles. I'll drive a biofuel car, a biofuel diesel car. What is it? Used cooking oil? Used cooking oil, right? That's more renewable than these EV vehicles. Once these EV vehicles are damaged, that's it. They can't recycle lithium and cobalt. And when those batteries die, it takes more money and it's more expensive to dispose those things. Right? That's one of my gripes with EV vehicles. And I'm like an off-road enthusiast. You cannot take an EV vehicle off-roading and do a long-term excursions. What if you run out of power? What if your internet doesn't work? It's just all this logic, and people are not looking at this logically. EV vehicles are not sustainable. You could build as much power station you want, it's still not sustainable because of the material it uses. That's my gripe with EV vehicles. I'm a pro hydrogen fuel cell car. Right? Even Toyota saying that out loud too. Even Toyota mentioned that. Toyota said electronic is not feasible. But they'll make it because it's mandated. They'll make it anyway. But they tell you it's not feasible. That's why Toyota are more invested in hydrogen fuel cell car. This is why BMW are more invested in hydrogen fuel cell car than EV. It's a con. EV is a con. Why do you think GM didn't go for it back in the mid-90s? What, the Saturn EV1 came out? They realized it's not feasible. It's not practical to use electric vehicles, so they scrapped it. Saturn was the first EV. No, it's not the first electric vehicle. The electric vehicle predated Saturn. But these are the first mainstream EV car that came out, the Saturn EV1. They realized it's not practical, so that's why they scrapped it down. The future, in my honest opinion, is fuel cell cars. The fuel is abundant, hydrogen. All we gotta do is make the infrastructure to convert gasoline stations to hydrogen stations. There's a hydrogen station next to my house. If you don't want hydrogen station, why not a compressed natural gas car? Those existed. Why aren't they pushing that? Compressed natural gas. Those are abundant. But I can't stand EVs. Not a certain brand. I don't care what brand it is. Alright? I don't care about Teslas or anything like that. It's not about the brand thing. It's not about Rivian. What was another one out there? Polestar. What's another one out there? Lucid. It doesn't matter what brand it is. Just the fact that it's an electric vehicle. It's like a toy. It'll break easily. But those are the things. That's what's wrong with EV, and people don't understand that. But let me know what you think. Are you for EV or you're against EV? I don't like EV at all by what I just said, and I'm more in favor of hydrogen fuel cell car. With time and effort and investment, the price will go down and the infrastructure will improve over time. And it's probably easier to transition a gas station to a hydrogen station. But that's what I think. If you have a different opinion, let me know what you think. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll check you guys in the next episode.